Hello, I'm Val and welcome to my channel. Apologies if there's a bit of a glare from the ring light, but it's quite a dull day here, so I needed to put that on. I've got some little felt and fabric embroidered flowers here, which is what I'm going to show you today. I'll see if I can get these a bit nearer without sending everything out of focus. Those okay? I think that's right. Yep, so these are what I'm going to show you how to make, and these came about because some of you might have seen a video I did a little while ago about these, which are lover's eye charms, and these are quite simple little charms made of a layer of material and 2 layers of felt on the back, and they come in various shapes and sizes, and they're obviously embellished with lots of beads, and this is meant to be the eye of your beloved that you keep as a romantic keepsake, or you send an image of your eye to your beloved. So yeah, I made those, and after I made them, I was thinking about what else I could do with these basic shapes, and I was trying to think of what else I could embroider instead of an eye, and then that kind of led me into thinking about actually doing some little flowers. And I used the same basic setup for these. So you have, in this case, it's a layer of velvet and then 2 layers of felt on the back stitched together. And that's what I use for these flowers. If you're using something like, this is a blue velvety material, and it's reasonably sturdy, so I would just draw a circle on there of the size that I want my flower to be. So I've got a small one here that I've cut out, and then you just need a couple of scraps of felt, and you're going to sew the whole thing. You're going to sew a running stitch just along the inside edge of here. If you're using a material that is not quite so sturdy, so I've got this which I've used on some of these little flowers, and it's a scarf that I've cut up, and it's really nice material, but it's what I'd call unstable. It's just a bit all over the place. So if you're using something like this, I'd say cut out your shape from the felt and then sew those onto the material and then cut that to size. So I've started doing my running stitch around the edge. It doesn't need to be anything neat and tidy because it's going to all be covered up when you stitch your flower, and then when you have stitched all around here, you're just going to cut that to size. There we go. And if you're doing that all the way around, you end up with something that's similar to that. You don't need to do the blanket stitch really on these. You can if you want, but it will be a waste of time because you're going to cover it all up with this, what I'd call overstitch. I don't know whether it's got a proper name, but you're just going over and over the edge of the circle that you've made to give you the outer edges of your flower. And this is another one that I've started. And when you're stitching, what I'd suggest, first of all, envisage a little circle in the centre there, and then do these little stitches radiating out from that centre. And these like sort of guidelines. So don't worry about filling everything in, all these gaps. Just initially get your stitches going in the way you want them to, and then you can go in afterwards and fill in all the gaps. And the same goes for these stitches at the outside. Just go around once, just getting all these stitches going in the direction you want them to, and then afterwards you're going to put lots and lots of stitching onto it. It makes it quite you can sort of fold it and shape it a bit once you've done all this stitching onto it. What I'd recommend, I used for this 3 strands of embroidery thread, and what's really nice is rather than doing a single colour, you can just take 3 shades of whatever colour you're using. So a lighter one, a medium one, a slightly darker one, whatever you like, but just put 1 strand of each on your needle at the same time and then do your stitches, and it just adds that little bit more interest to your flower. And just stitch away with as much colour as you want and as densely as you want your stitches to be, I like to do them slightly different lengths, so it's not really uniform. So it does look hand stitched rather than something that's, you know, been manufactured in a factory. And then when you've done your stitching, you just simply get your beads, get some seed beads and various different kinds of beads, and just pile them all up in the centre. I suppose you could hot glue them if you wanted to, but it's just as easy to sew them in place. What you make, your little flower will have quite a messy backside, and if you wanted to, if it bothered you, you could just take a piece of felt and sew that over the top to disguise that. And what can you do with these flowers? Well, you could turn them into brooches, so that one would be quite a nice little brooch, I think. And if you don't have a brooch pin, you could always just sew a safety pin to the back. It's a bit low tech, but it's fine. No one's going to see it once that's pinned on. Or you could use an actual brooch back, something like that. This is a bit mad. This is something I made years ago. I made a bourbon biscuit out of felt and turned it into a brooch because, well, why not? I might make another of those actually. They were quite fun trying to make biscuits out of felt. But yeah, these are my felt flowers. So that was quite a speedy little video. I didn't think you needed me to sit and sew that in front of you because it's pretty obvious how you make them once I explain the basics. And you can do endless variations of these, endless kind of colour schemes. You could do really large flowers. You could do little tall, not tall, small rather, little dinky ones. And you can have a lot of fun with them. So that's my idea. So I started off with the lover's eye charms, and I've gone on to doing flowers. So we shall see what I come up with next to do with these little pieces of felt and fabric. So thank you for watching, and I hope that was enjoyable. If it was, maybe you could leave me a comment or a thumbs up. That would be great. So thanks for your time, and I'll speak to you again soon. Thank you. Bye bye.